If you could borrow $1 billion, 0% interest for 10 years, would you do it?
No.
What do you think about that?
That's Dave Ramsey's formula. Unfortunately, he's really short-sighted. What he doesn't understand is 1971, the U.S. dollar became debt. If you stop borrowing money, the U.S. economy stops. So he says live debt-free. He's actually unpatriotic. I borrow money as a patriot. I was taught to use debt to get rich. Most people use debt to get poor. And so there's other people, like this guy Dave Ramsey, he's a friend of mine. He says live debt-free. I'm $1.2 billion in debt.
1.2?
Billion.
With a B, guys.
But I use debt as money.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, if you don't have financial education, listen to Dave Ramsey.
Why does Dave Ramsey say all debt is dumb?
Well, because Dave Ramsey is a idiot. That's why he's shitting me. No, I mean, pardon my French. I mean, he and I, who's your target? You know, when we first got together, I said, who is your demographics, right? You guys are real estate guys. Dave Ramsey is not your teacher. You're their teacher. Does that make sense? So like I'm a pilot. I didn't ask a basketball player to teach me how to play, to fly. So when I went to Vietnam, I wanted the best teachers. So if you're going to be in real estate, Dave Ramsey is not your teacher. You are.
I have lived 100% debt-free since I went broke 30-something years ago, and I have had a wonderful life. I've made a lot of money. I have a lot of investments, and they're all paid for. And when crap happens, like the Island of Misfit Toys is misbehaving up in Washington, D.C. right now, and they're screwing up the whole freaking economy, I'm sitting here peaceful and slept really good last night, except that my 4-year-old grandson put a plastic snake under my pillow. But other than that, I slept great last night.
Well, in one of your YouTube videos, you actually said that you're currently $600 million in debt. No?
1.2 billion.
1.2 billion. Okay. There we go.
And the reason I talk about debt is because in 1971, when I was in Vietnam, Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard.
Right.
They don't tell you that, you know, and the money became debt. And so then these communist school teachers tell you to get out of debt, like what's his name, Dave Ramsey and all that, live debt free. And that's good advice for the average person because debt will kill you. But debt is money today. And so when I acquire an asset, I use debt. Well, there's two kinds of debt. There's good debt and bad debt. Good debt is debt that somebody else pays off for you. So when I buy an apartment house with my friend Kenny, I don't pay for it. The bank lends us the money and debt is tax-free, right? So let's say we put $1 billion down to buy a $5 million apartment. So we now have a $5 million asset and our tenants pay for it. That's good debt. But I take out my credit card to go eat sushi. That's bad debt because I got to pay for it. And it's that simple. Now, this is basic financial education or financial literacy, they call it.
How much debt do you have?
$1.2 billion.
Does that ever make you nervous? Are you ever worried about defaulting on the debt?
It gets me a stimulated. Now, I'll tell you why. You owe the bank $20 million and you can't pay it back. You got a problem. But you owe the bank $1 billion and you can't pay it back. Is there a problem? If you understand history, the reason I pay no taxes is because I borrow money. I'm a debtor. And check this out. I mean, all you communists out there, check this stuff out. I am a billionaire in debt. You know why? Because I get tax breaks for borrowing money. And the reason I am so rich is because I'm in debt. And my friend Dave Ramsey says, live debt free. Well, you're an idiot. I mean, he's my friend, but I say, Dave, I like debt. He says, I know, but most people can't handle debt. I said, I agree. But that's why there's no financial education in schools, because if you knew how to handle debt, you wouldn't save that crappy dollar you have in your hand. I'd rather borrow the money tax-free. If I borrow money, guess what? Do I pay taxes on debt?
I guess no.
Why is that? Why is debt tax-free?
I don't know.
Because that's how money is created. And so the banks love it. They love people who borrow lots of money. So how do I get rich? I borrow money. And I buy assets with it. The poor person borrows money and buys liabilities like purses, cars, houses, and they get poorer and poorer and poorer.
Credit cards, stupid. Stupid. Student loans, stupid. Car payments, stupid on steroids. Borrowing money on your house to put granite countertops in. Somebody ought to smack you. That's stupid. It's stupid. You have to stop and think again. It's because you're killing yourself. You make enough money to retire a millionaire or a multimillionaire. You make enough money that your kid ought to have a college fund fully funded and they can go to school without being part of the freaking student loan crisis. But by God, you had to have a bass boat so you're $32,000 in debt because those fish were outrunning you. God, think.
I used debt because debt is tax-free money. What I did was I rehabbed my apartment, 13,000 of them. I just kept buying more with the cash flow, and I'd refinance out as interest rates dropped. So I'm in good shape now. Then I set all interest rates right now. So I use debt. And who's that guy who says live debt-free? Well, that's his opinion. I don't do that.
You're not going on vacation. You're in debt. You're broke. You're not going out to eat. You're in debt. You're broke. You work all the time. You're in debt. You're broke. There's a great place to go when you're broke, to work. Okay? This is what you do. And you bust your butt. And it's scorched earth. No lifestyle. No nothing. You sell so much stuff the kids think they're next. You name the dog eBay and the cat Craigslist. Everything's going out the door. We're getting this mess cleaned up. We're sick and tired of being sick and tired. People that do it with that intensity get out of debt in an average of about 18 to 24 months. As I know enough about the car business, they not only screwed you on the loan, they screwed you on the car when they sold it to you because you paid premium for both. They saw you coming a mile away. They said, here comes Erica. We're going to take her. That's exactly what they saw. You got had, kid. Same thing they did when they told you $200,000 was a good deal to get a master's to be marriage and family therapy. That's a complete screw job, too. You pay double what you should have paid for that degree. And you gotta say no more borrowing. My life is not better when I borrow to make my life better.
The clash between Dave Ramsey and Robert Kiyosaki represents the ultimate divide in financial philosophy, the pursuit of absolute safety versus the mastery of strategic leverage. While they appear to be arguing about the same thing, they are actually speaking to two entirely different audiences with fundamentally different goals. At least, that's what I think. To me, Dave Ramsey operates as the mathematical and behavioral traditionalist. His argument is rooted in the belief that the shortest distance between a person and wealth is the total elimination of risk. Positioning himself as an aggregator of data from millions of families and thousands of millionaires, Ramsey argues that your income is your most powerful wealth-building tool. When that income is tied up in debt, whether for a house, student loans, or consumer goods, your wealth-building engine is restricted. For Ramsey, debt is a spiritual and psychological weight. He views the good debt argument as a passive-aggressive justification for staying in a system that keeps people broke. His philosophy is designed to provide a safety floor, ensuring that through discipline and the avoidance of the borrower is slave dynamic, any individual can achieve a life of peace and generosity. In stark contrast, Robert Kiyosaki acts as somewhat of a sophisticated contrarian, in my opinion. He doesn't view debt as a burden to be cleared, but as money to be used. To him, the distinction lies entirely in financial education. He acknowledges that Ramsey's advice is perfect for the uneducated masses who use debt to buy liabilities that make them poor, at least to a degree. However, for the professional student of finance, debt is the fuel for massive scaling. In addition to calling Ramsey an idiot, Kiyosaki labeled him short-sighted for advising the masses to prioritize security and debt elimination. From Kiyosaki's perspective, this focus ignores the exponential growth potential that calculated, educated use of debt can provide to those aiming for serious wealth, ultimately keeping them financially limited. Using the analogy of a pilot, he argues that you shouldn't ask a savings-based teacher how to build an empire, just as you wouldn't ask a basketball player how to fly a plane. His approach is more like offensive play, designed for those willing to treat finance as a technical craft, where the goal isn't just to be debt-free, but to be asset-rich, though he initially championed debt as a universal gospel for wealth, only pivoting to qualify it as a high-level tool, after critics like Ramsey pointed out the wreckage it leaves for those without a professional financial education. Ultimately, the two men are solving different problems. Ramsey solves for peace, providing a roadmap for the 90% of people who want a stable, secure life without the threat of bankruptcy. Kiyosaki solves for wealth, providing a high-octane strategy for the 10% who are willing to manage high-level risk in exchange for massive growth. As Kiyosaki himself admits, when he was pushed more and more in subsequent interviews much later, if you aren't prepared to dedicate your life to financial education, you should follow Ramsey. The right path depends entirely on whether you are looking for a fortress of safety or a machine for expansion. Let me know what you think about the arguments made on each side. Maybe you would have a different analysis or a different view on what was said. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share. I'll see you in the next one.